Joseph, shall we start?
Yeah, you can, now is 8 o'clock. You can start definitely.
Okay. So good evening, all of you. Welcome to yet another episode of Health, Wealth, Happiness and Knowledge. So, respected State President and respected office bearers of IAP, AAP, especially my dear friend Sri Prasad, who is the president and who is the person who organized this program, and respected members of our Committee of Health, Wealth and Happiness, Dr. Jayaraman sir, Dr. Ajit Menon sir, and Dr. Narayanan sir, and all our dear members. So today we are into yet another episode of our Health, Wealth and Happiness program. And last month we had a wonderful talk on the general aspects of this topic, and today we are going on to yet another important topic: mutual funds and investments. And we are having a lot of audience for this, especially after the talk. We are getting a lot of views on YouTube. So I think today our respected Ajoy sir will give us wonderful tips and tricks for mutual funds investment. The only thing that we are lacking now is the money to invest. So everything else we have. So once again, I congratulate IAP Alappuzha branch for organizing this event. I welcome the president of IAP Alappuzha, Dr. Sri Prasad, for the welcome speech.
Thank you, dear KM. Respected State President of IAP Kerala, our own Joe sir, Narayanan sir, past President of IAP Kerala and the convener of Chairperson of Health, Wealth and Knowledge Presidential Action Plan. Respected TP Jayaraman sir, our past President of IAP Kerala and the convener of Health, Wealth and Knowledge Series. Today's our speaker, Dr. Ajay Kumar sir. KM, our own Secretary of IAP Kerala, and all senior pediatricians who have joined with us to listen us and guide us in this matter. I, as the President of IAP Alappuzha, I welcome you all. Today, as KM told, it is a second part of the Health, Wealth and Knowledge series. As per many, doctors are very wise and intelligent. But the common man says doctors know how to earn well, where to invest, what to do and what not to do. But in the reality, it is not like that. Recently, we have seen a WhatsApp message by Dr. Shankar Mahadevan also stating the same. And it is because of the same reason our president has included this important issue in his presidential action plan. And we are so happy to host the second part of Health, Wealth and Knowledge series. And without wasting much time, let us start. And for the inaugural address, I would like to invite our own Joe sir, the State President of IAP Kerala. Over to you, Joe sir.
Thank you, Dr. Krishna Mohan and Dr. Sri Prasad. Today, the faculty, Dr. Ajay, my good friend for the last 15 years, Dr. Ajay Kumar sir, the convener of this Health and Wealth program, Dr. M. Narayanan, our past president of IAP Kerala, and today the chairperson and the member of this Health and Wealth program for IAP Kerala, Dr. Jayaraman sir, and the member, Dr. Ajit Menon from Kannur, our dynamic secretary, Dr. Krishna Mohan, and treasurer, Dr. Ranjit, and all the senior members joined this platform. And from Hyderabad, there are a lot of members joined. Dr. Narayan Reddy there, and all the senior members from different part of Kerala, India is joining this program. As Dr. Krishna Mohan and Dr. Sri Prasad mentioned, this is one of the pioneer action plan of Synergy 2023. So health and wealth and knowledge regarding, as Dr. Sri Prasad mentioned, we think that doctors are very intelligent in all aspects, but they are pure in financial issues. So they have a lot of any financial cheating issues, one of the doctor may be involved because they don't know how to invest and how to do the safe investment and save for the money in our future is concerned. So with this concept, and last year also we started the program under the leadership of Dr. Narayan and Dr. Jairam sir and Dr. Ajit. We had conducted 2 or 3 programs regarding the health and wealth of the IAP and circumstances. I think this is one of the program is mostly appreciated by the either more the IAP members and non-IAP members are very much interested in this program because they have to know how to safely and do the money issues, how to tackle it, how to save it, how it can be safe, all the other aspect of how to safely our invest our money is concerned. Today, another important program we are going to yesterday. First program was the basics of our financial concern. That was also very much appreciated by the members and the YouTube viewers are very much. And after the program, we uploaded the program in the YouTube and that was very much appreciated by the viewers. Link was very high. And also they also requested to give the YouTube link to all of us. They want to see the coming issues regarding the health and wealth issues. Today, the faculty, Dr. Ajay Kumar, is a person, financial man, and he is safely started our family benefit scheme for the last several years. In his hand, the family benefit scheme was very safe, and he know how to safely and tackle the money, how to give how it can be safely deposit money and every aspect of financial issues. That's very much he is interested regarding the tax and every aspect. He is very much interested in that part. So I think today the program will be very much informative for all IAPNs in a future life, how to invest in mutual fund and how to give forfeit and how can you save money in your life is concerned. So I take the opportunity to congratulate Dr. Narayan and Dr. Jayaraman and Dr. Ajit for arranging the program in a wonderful manner. Again, the IAP leader, Dr. Sri Prasad, and other team are arranged the program in a wonderful way with support from State Secretary Dr. Rajit and State Secretary Krishnamohan and Rajit. And I wish you all the best program. Jai Hind, Jai IAP. Over to Krishnamohan.
So thank you, Joe sir, for your support and guidance always. Now I would like to invite our own Dr. M. Narayan, the master pillar behind the Health, Wealth and Knowledge series. And I am also happy that last time also I was also a member of this team. Without wasting much time, we would like to hear Dr. Narayanan. Sir, over to you, sir.
Yeah, good evening to you all. Respected President Dr. Jose, Dr. Ajay Kumar sir, today's faculty, Dr. Jayaraman, Dr. Sri Prasad, Dr. Ranjit, Dr. Krishnamohan, and my dear friends in this room. Actually, today is an important day because this is the second session that we are having on health, wealth, and management and knowledge. And Dr. Ajay Kumar, as Dr. Jose has already said, is a man with a lot of expertise in financial management, which unfortunately many of us do not have. And as Dr. Krishnamohan has put up an important point that we don't have much money to save. Taking the other way around, it is the people who don't have much money who should save. Because if you are filthy rich, you need not save because the money will be there. I mean, we presume that you have plenty of money to survive. But the people who have less income or marginal income, it is those people who should save. And today's topic or today's lecture will be dedicated to those people. I request Dr. Ajay to dedicate this talk to those people and help them to save more. And of course, thanks to Dr. Jayaraman and Dr. Ajit, who are the main persons who arrange this program. Due to Pedicon programs, I was not much involved in this program. And also Dr. Sri Prasad and IAP AAP and IAP Kerala for arranging this program. Wish you all a very happy webinar. Thank you.
Thank you, dear Narayanan sir. Now I would like to invite our dynamic young secretary, Dr. Krishna Mohan. He is a well-known figure to all central IAP all over India. And I would like to invite Dr. KM, our secretary, for a felicitation. Krishna Mohan.
You proceed.
On.
Prasad,
Okay.
further.
Okay. So now I would like to invite our TP Jayaraman sir, the past president of IAP Kerala and the chair and convener of this health, wealth and knowledge series. And today he is a chairperson also. And I would like
good evening, friends. Thank you, Dr. Sri Prasad, for inviting me. It's a pleasure to have the second session of this action plan by Dr. Jose on financial aspects and the health, wealth, and knowledge. Thank you, Jose, for arranging this wonderful action plan in your action plan, Synergy. And as you were all telling, we are having the second edition of this program with the basic financial planning last month by Dr. Tirumalai Kolundu. Now today we are going to start into specific aspects of financial management. And we have got a wonderful speaker in Dr. Ajoy, who had been hearing on one of the most important and most popular tool of investment among professionals who doesn't have much time to learn about stock exchange and all those things. Mutual funds are very popular among professionals. And I hope Dr. Ajay will be throwing a good light on these one aspects, how to go about, how to select mutual funds and how to go about using this in your portfolio creation. As well as he is going to touch a little bit on the very popular idea of index investing on exchange traded funds and all those things, which will be very useful for young coming up pediatricians. As Dr. Jose was telling, now we are going to a situation where our practice is going to be very indefinite. And all of us should learn how to manage the finance also very well, which our senior pediatricians were not taking much interest on these aspects, putting all our efforts on our profession. That is the very idea of we are arranging this action plan. And to introduce Ajoy, I am very happy to have him with us. He was a founder secretary of the prestigious program started by our own Dr. Yusungaran sir, that is a FBS of Indian Academy of Pediatrics. He was a founder secretary and he continued to be the secretary of FBS from 2011 to 2016, forming a very strong foundation for the program. And he was the past president of Indian Academy of Pediatrics, Andhra Pradesh State, Telangana, and also the president of Teen City branch of Indian Academy of Pediatrics, as well as the NNF chapters. And he had been a member of CIAP EB in 2015, 2013, and 2019. And also he was awarded the Dr. Harish Chandra Oration 2023 by Pediatric Academy of Telangana on financial intelligence to pediatricians. And regarding his activity on the personal finance front, he has held many workshops from 2020 from the Corona period for pediatricians to increase the personal finance literacy. And he has conducted workshops and also a financial fitness certificate course for Indian Academy of Pediatric members, and also edited a toolkit on personal finance, which is very popular. And he has organized a WhatsApp group where there are almost 1,200 pediatricians from all over India. He is the admin of that group, and that group is very popular among pediatricians. Then it is well shown by the way we are having so many people from all over India attending this session, to anxious to hear what he has to say about mutual fund investing. With these few introductions, I request Ajoy to start the session. Thank you so much for this opportunity.
TPG sir, before starting the session, can I invite Dr. Chapai Soren, the professor of pediatrics? He's an expert in this field. I heard like that. Can I invite Soren?
Yes, sir. Dr. Soren, please felicitate the program.
Soren sir.
Yeah,
Please unmute him, Prasad. Please unmute.
Okay. Good evening, all. Yeah. Good evening, all participants. Okay. So, thank you for conducting these sessions. We'll be happy to attend. We also eager to listen to sir, though we know each other very well with Ajay sir. So, good day. We wishing him all the best for these presentations. Yeah. Sir, that's all, sir.
Thank you, Soren sir.
Dr. Ajay, we start. I think we can start, Dr. Ajay.
Yeah. Dr. Jose, Secretary Krishna Prasad, Sri Prasad sir, President Alpuza, and Secretary of IAP branch, and state office bearers, district office bearers of IAP Kerala, and today's chairperson, Dr. Jayaramam, who is our member in the WhatsApp also since past 2-3 years. Thank you very much for inviting me and arranging today's program. I'm very much eager to address the most literate state of India. 100% literacy, Kerala. We all read, we all admire, we all look up to the Kerala for its not only literacy, but also in many indicators and parameters in the healthcare of our country. It's really a privilege, honor, and my luck to address Kerala members, and especially on this topic, which is so dear and passionate to me from past 3 years after the COVID. One of the reasons already told by my seniors here, that we should have a second income, source of income. Our professional income or salary is definitely not going to be sufficient for a long-term management of our life post-retirement, and also before retirement for our children's welfare. Hence, our longevity has increased. We are going to be there for 30 years after retirement. So how do we take care of our ourselves before you run out of your corpus for retirement? So I thought this is a very good instrument which we should talk about, and all of us should know and learn, and also express the option and consider it for our wealth creation and wealth accumulation. I was so happy. I'm inspired and motivated by our last speaker, Professor Dr. Tirumalai Kolondu sir, who is an expert in the finance field. Actually, I met him some years back and I got the inspiration and motivation from him. And I consider him as my guru in this particular subject. With pranam and respects to Tirumalai sir and to all our seniors who has given the wonderful opportunity for me to address today. So I will start sharing the screen if you give me a moment. Just let me know if you can see my screen so that I will start the presentation.
Screen is visible.
Yeah.
It's seen.
Make to slideshow.
Yeah. So Synergy, the wonderful program named by my friend Dr. Jose, which combines both health, wealth, and knowledge. We doctors have wonderful knowledge in our field. We are a little bit back in our health, but totally backwards in our finance management. So today, let's see what we can do in these two wonderful topics. These are highly popular among the population all over the world, including India. And I have these 2 YouTube channels, which you can note down, and many of you who are in F3 WhatsApp group, all the programs we have uploaded, the previous recorded live programs from various speakers for improve your knowledge further. I cannot claim to be a financial expert as everybody is telling today, but yes, I have floated one partnership firm called Medi Associates and Doctors Incorporated 16 years back, and then it has given us a 18% compounded annual growth rate, which is 25 times for my close group colleagues. But I want to declare that I'm not a SEBI registered advisor, nor I have any qualification or certificates. And this program we are doing only for the education and awareness purpose for the doctors, for Indian Academy of Pediatrics and their friends and families. And I urge you and caution you to do your due diligence before you start taking the advice, and also invest in the today's whatever talk I give, and go home with the key messages. All the information which I have gathered from past few weeks for this talk are true to my knowledge and the current information which I gathered, but it likely to change as the knowledge improves and increases. So I have not taken any grants from any companies which I will disclose and reveal here the names, but they are only for the purpose of the example. We all know India is changing very rapidly. If you see 10 years back in our stock exchange, the top 10 companies were listed there: Tata Steel, ITC, Tata Motors, Hindustan Liver. We don't even see now Mafatlal, we don't see Grasim, we don't see ACC or Gujarat. All these things have gone and different companies have come. We used to have that type of TV and a watch, which was HMT, which my dad gave in our student days. All the seniors sitting here, Ambassador was the car. From there, we have come a long way. Today, we are in the cusp of development in our country, what America probably was almost 100 years ago with the formalization and the infrastructure development. In the past decade, the 4 important things has happened. Just recently, Dr. Nandan Nilankani also mentioned in a big talk by Business Standard guest lecture, where he mentioned these 4 things: physical infrastructure, the construction of network, both for internet network, the taxation reforms where GST has come. This has formalized the economy. Probably now we are using more GPay, more digital economy rather than a cash-based. Banking reforms have cleaned up to a large extent. And India's stack is Aadhaar card and UPI. We are the world's leading users of digital payment, right from a pan dukanwala or even a lowliest vegetable vendor to the highest people through our mobile phones. But whatever you do, before I lay out my today's program in a 40 minutes talk, please assess ourselves. When we want to select an instrument or a property or a asset to invest, we should know these things, and we should assess ourselves what we are. Are we? What are our goals? What is our time horizon I should look for? And what do I have a mindset towards the money? Many people say money is the root cause of all the evil. That is what we have been grown up. But money is necessary for everything. If without money, maybe you can't take care of your health also. Probably that's basic need which we talk about. So my main endeavor is this particular line: active investor, passive investor. There is a terminology which I have learned over a period of time that we do change our aggression or aggressive investor, conservative investor to an active investor to a passive investor, on and off, depending upon our requirement, our time horizon, our goals, and also our knowledge, how we develop. So, and when we learn how to manage the risk which we have in these instruments. So market learning is important. But before, the next step after assessing yourself is to do these 4 things. Very first steps, like you should have a contingency fund made always about 6 to 12 months of expenses, including the EMIs from the loan which you take, in a reserve, kept, not touching it, only for the emergencies. You should have a term insurance. We have a FBS IAP, which was discussed just now. So kindly enroll in the FBS IAP. At least it gives you an emergency, some chunk of money today, 9.5 lakhs to 10 lakhs to the nominees. Health insurance is important. Those who have a large family or old parents should cover the family also. A top-up should be there, including your cancer, heart diseases, kidney disease. So many things we have discussed. That's a different totally topic. And retirement planning is a very, very important. It has to be done based on the calculations. Mathematical calculations, calculators are available. Today I'm spending say 50,000 to 1 lakh per month. How much I have to have in my pocket to spend after 30 years, that thing, and how much I have to save to get that sort of a corpus is what we should look for. And as I said in the beginning, I acknowledge with gratitude the resources today which I have taken from various authors and WealthCon, an organization of Dr. National Stock Exchange and Center for Investment Education and Learning. Most of the material I've taken from these sources. Now, the third step is asset allocation. Any journey for investment or in personal finance management starts allocation of asset. Everything I have made into this mnemonic called GREED CC. What is greed? G is gold, RE is real estate, E is equity, or other words, stocks, D is debts, and C is currency, another C is commodity. So it all depends upon, nothing is good or bad. We all know that everything has its own place, its own time, and its own function for the investor. So people say gold is bad, or real estate is bad, or stocks are bad. So everything has its own place. So this is the allocation percentage which Dr. Kolundu sir mentioned. So I have taken it and picked up from there. And the returns which we probably get is a rough figures which we have shown here. So it's like a question, the eternal question, who is beautiful, Aishwarya, Deepika, or Madhuri? All the three of them are beautiful. It all depends upon our choice is. Atul Gawande is a doctor who's a pediatric endocrine surgeon, I think. He has published a book called Checklist Manifesto, and which was based on aviation and industry, the checklist, and he has implemented in surgery. So to reduce the risk and the complications in the surgical department. And our investment also is like a checklist. You start doing what I have told just now. Basing on that, we start going forward. So diversification allocation is the hallmark for a safety and for the multiplication of our investment. But this particular slide, if you see on the left, the green slide shows different countries, the number of percentage of population which is doing financial instrument participation. India is 3%. Just now it has gone up to 4.5%. So very low participation in the financial markets and the financial instruments by our population. And this is what we are trying to spread the literacy or awareness or educate the people that start looking at this new avenues, which doctors are well intelligent, well-read, and very, very sane people. They have read so much in their lifetime, and I don't think so managing personal finance with learning new knowledge, they will lose anything. Bond market in India is almost negligible in this slide you can see, and it is so huge in USA. It is almost like $50 trillion. If you open our portfolio today, we will have fixed income investment maximum. The balance is tilted there. We are having cash, we are having provident fund, we have fixed deposits, and our bank savings money is getting eroded. Hardly any one of us will be investing in mutual funds or stocks. And today our topic will be to admit in the mutual funds, look and explore what we can do about it. This slide is by Reserve Bank of India. This is the Indian household story, which I just now told you. 90% of our people invest since ages, centuries. I don't think so. This is the new statistics. Property and gold. Everybody is very, 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 very well-versed are expert in real estate and gold. Our household has stashed in our lockers trillions of dollars of gold lying waste without any productivity. So this is what we or many of our friends are trying to change. But why many investors are not able to create wealth, are afraid to achieve, are not able to achieve the financial goals? The answers could be this. They think that finance is very complex subject. It's a very difficult subject. I'm not able to spend the time for the market or study them. And they deviate from their goal once they start, also because of the volatility, what we are seeing today in the market. Suddenly it goes up, the market suddenly drops. And we depend upon people like me. They ask my friends, Ajay, what is today you think we should invest in? So don't go by tips or friends' advice. We should learn ourselves. So what is the smart investor? As the CIFL director has mentioned in one of the webinar, a smart investor is the one who has a simple, easy to understand asset he or she picks up, and is mindful of the market orientation or market news. And it should be automatic, like every month you do this systematic investment plan so that you start saving, which everybody talked about, at least 20% of our income every month, and put it in this saving to build the nest for our well-being in future. And you should be risk focused. Rule number 1, don't lose money in the market. Don't lose your money. Rule number 2 is, remember always rule number 1, as Warren Buffett says. And time in the market or time in the investment is never a correct time or a bad time. It is how long you are in this particular field is important. Now, coming to the mutual fund per se, the topic of the day, Security Exchange Board of India, SEBI, says there are this many categories of mutual funds only. And the categories are debt schemes, equity scheme, hybrid scheme, and solution-oriented, that children's and retirement funds, and others like index funds and FOF. FOF is fund of funds. The chairperson today of the SEBI is a woman and a non-administrative line of a person, first time in the history of SEBI. And she says mutual fund is a bada beta, or the eldest son of investment of SEBI. So SEBI gives lot of protection, the rules and regulations, and wrongdoings which happens to control this particular field. And the technology is what she says to improve for the Association of Mutual Funds of India, which is a apex body to control all the mutual funds of our country. If you see, world's first mutual fund came in 1924. India's mutual fund came in 1963. Jayaraman sir and seniors like me very well remember UTI, Unit Trust of India. We all had some units, and that was the mutual fund journey we all began. These are some of the terminology which we all should know in the mutual fund, and everybody are aware today the 44 funds or more, 50 funds are there in India, which float thousands of mutual fund schemes. So it becomes a little confusing. I will take you through this simple journey, how to select them and how to go about. And remember, this is a time tested and advised by most of the experts in the books which we have gathered and passing on the information today. So all these things, NAV, AUM is the asset under management, what is a growth, what is an open, what is a dividend option, what is a regular investment, expense ratio, redemption, SIP and lump sum, all these things, please learn. These are simple to know. Most of you know, as I said, Kerala being a very educated state, they all been doing mutual fund. Now, WealthCon is a organization by the doctors for the doctors. I am a scholar of that organization, and this is available in the public domain, called a mnemonic called CARESA. To select a mutual fund, we should know what is CARESA. First try to see what category you are interested in. Debt fund, equity mutual fund, or a children's other index fund or ETF. So age of the fund, look at that AUM or that fund house. What is the age of that fund? How much asset? Please go for large asset management companies, more than 1,000 crores. The return should be looked at 1 year, 3 years, 5 years. And now SEBI has made it mandatory to declare in any mutual fund application what is the TRI, total return index. Expense ratio, it should be minimum. Sortino ratio, don't worry about it, just higher the better. You can Google it and see. Alpha is nothing but achieving returns of your mutual fund scheme higher than the benchmark for which you can compare. How to see Caressa, where to see? These are the two. I have given simple websites called valueresearch.com and screener.com. And if you just click on the tools there and put in all these criteria of Caressa there, you will get a list of mutual funds which you can select by. You want an equity, you want a debt fund, what is your age of the company, what is the AUM, returns, all these are there. And if it passes, you shortlist the mutual funds and decide. But remember, if you are a first timer or you are a regular investor or you are a senior like me, please, these 5 words remember for mutual fund investment. I'm talking about all in detail. You should always invest in open mutual fund wherein you can go in and come out whenever you like, not a closed fund. It should be direct, not through an indirect distributor or a salesperson or a bank or anything. Directly go to the website or go and AMFI website and invest there and opt for a growth. That means the dividends and are reinvested and your funds corpus keeps on going up. Should be low expense, less than 0.5% or 0.1%. And you must always invest in small aliquots rather than a lump sum. It is known as systemic investment plan. So the 4th point is very important when you want to look at the mutual fund. Total return index, TRI, it is mandated by SEBI now. Everybody has to mention that. So tracking and monitoring is important. Just fill it, shut it and forget it is not there in general to the mutual fund. I will tell you which other mutual funds you can do that. Vipul Jain sir is there in the audience. He is expert in the index fund from Delhi. He has already spoken and we have a recorded lecture by him. This requires little tracking and monitoring if you're talking about active mutual fund. So don't worry about the Sharpe ratio, what it is, what is R squared and all this. These are all mentioned in the moneycontrol.com. You can just put your fund and look for the tracking and monitoring. How many funds you must invest in? See, a mutual fund will have 30 to 50 stocks. Say if you take a large cap mutual fund, Kulundu sir has also given this particular formula. 10 to 15 is upper limit. I don't think so. I can manage 10 also. For me, 5 to 6 is okay because I have to monitor them. So what are the different categories you look for? Try to invest in this mid cap, large cap, liquid fund, hybrid fund, arbitrage fund, ELSS, like that. Somebody else has also mentioned, allocated the percentage, how much you must do. So a little elaborate. Equity, gold and debt funds are also available and you can spread your portfolio in these categories. Then what are the red flags? If your portfolio has been constructed slowly and steadily over a period of time, the way we have gone about, some people say, experts like I believe in 3 to 6 funds is more than enough to monitor. So if your fund is having too many funds, you're duplicating the stocks. The large funds will have the same 30, 40 companies. The fund XYZ will have another same 30, 40 companies. So whatever growth is happening, it is similar. So your AMC is not equally distributed. You are too much in the sectoral and thematic funds. It should not exceed more than 15% of your portfolio. And remember, emergency liquid fund, as I said in the beginning, should be the first step you must do, then only go here. There is a problem now with the AMCs. They start marketing their product because they want to raise their AUM, that is asset under management, and folios or account holders or investors. Recently, I came across, these are the top, some of the schemes which are giving 75% commission to the distributors, which is horrible and which is not at all acceptable by the doctors or investing public like us. So when to exit? Suppose you have done this detailing, and when to exit? You exit when your goal is achieved rather. You are now why you have invested in the beginning, you have reached that end. Or if that fund is not doing well, year on year, every 6 months, every year you are monitoring, it's not doing. The peers are doing well. Fund A is your fund. Similar fund, Fund B, is doing better than your Fund A. This is the time to exit. Any bad news about that fund house? We have got so many fund managers or funds are doing some scandal, some fraud, poor track record come out of it. Taxation, we are all knowing. I'm not an expert, but I only know two terminology: short-term, long-term. Less than 1 year, 15% STCG, more than 1 year LTCG, 1 lakh after 1 lakh of the interest. And the debt fund, it is 3 years STG, and more than 3 years is LTCG, and that is at the rate of 20%. Recently, some indexation was removed in the last finance budget. People are now exploring, people who are having excess of income or funds to invest, they are exploring abroad, emerging markets or American markets. So these are the funds in India which actually does the investment. Through them, if you go, is better. Otherwise, there are so many tax implications, RBI rules, and many of us in past 3 years talking about FANGs. FAANGs is the topmost companies of America, like Zoom, like Google, like Facebook, which is known as Meta now, Alpha, or Amazon, or Netflix. These are the companies, and these are the funds which do invest in this particular abroad markets. Dr. Wilson is a dermatologist. He's from Tamil Nadu, Tirunelveli, same place as where Dr. Tirmalai sir is there. He has got a different approach in selecting mutual funds. He first studies fund managers. He is the only book I have read where Dr. Wilson mentioned, who's a dermatologist, categorize the funds depending upon the fund manager. These fund managers he has divided into a Sehwag style allegory and compared with the cricketers. David style, Kapil Dev style, Tendulkar style, and these guys are the rock stars of the mutual fund. They have consistently given on a long term very good returns, and I think you should look at these growth funds, value funds, emerging investment, mixed pickers, contra funds, all these things, and study a little bit and then get attached to their, align with them. Sir has also given, Tirmalai sir has also mentioned in his book last time in his talk also, I have picked up this slide there, and these are some of the fund houses he has mentioned depending upon the 10-year CAGR, and it is wonderful. 15% to say 20% is a very good CAGR for the mutual funds if you stay put there for a little longer time. Now, I finished mutual fund introduction. This is the most important aspect of my talk, the next 20 minutes on passive funds and active funds. Jairam sir has already said about this, index funds and also ETF. ETF is exchange traded funds. Let us see what happens and why it is so important. What is the difference between active fund and passive fund? Some parameters we are comparing. A passive fund only aims at the market returns, whereas an active fund aims to beat the market. That means they want to be above the market returns. It is hands-off. You just sit at home. That's why it is known as passive funds. And strategy in the active is hands-on. The manager will be managing that fund to get higher returns. And what is the performance? It is linked to index, the underlying index, like say Nifty 50 or a Sensex or a gold rate in the market. But here the manager's skill and knowledge is used and he tries to beat the market. Similarly, the cost is the major thing which you see the difference between an active fund and a passive fund. In the passive fund, because there is not much of the trading, not much of the changing, you only end up giving 0.5% of the AUM, whereas it is almost 2% of AUM. And mind you, it looks 1.5%, looks 2%, but over a period of 10 years, 1 lakh per 1% today, which could be about just 10,000 or maybe 5,000, will become lakhs of rupees, the expense ratio at the end of 20 years when your corpus grows into crores. And the low investment strategy, Narayanan sir said, Jose sir said, doctors who don't have a lot of savings, how to enter? You can still enter at the cost of pizza or a cost of one dosa in idli. That means even with 200 rupees, you can start investing, low investment eligibility to get into is rather than in the stocks. So this is what it means, that the attraction globally of passive investment is rising. If you see here, the market of passive investments in India and global, I have compared. The slide is slightly different, but there is a 18% growth all over the world, whereas it is 45% growth from the past 14 years in the AUM and CAGR of Indian passive funds. And also the number of people who are investing in equity passive fund is almost 75% of this total AUM or the size of the industry. So the world is going towards the passive funds investment because it is so many advantages. I will tell you in the next slide. So there is an impressive growth of ETF all over the place, geographical areas, Europe, Asia, Pacific, Australia, India, everywhere this thing is going. I will just talk about ETF industry and the index fund industry. Index, I may not take so much because index has already been dealt with, available in our websites, in our YouTube channels. The passive fund overall has got a very, very bright future, and it has got a trend which is going up over a period of time. You can see the graph. Now, what are the instruments of passive fund? I've already alluded. One is index fund. The other is exchange traded fund. What do I mean by that? An index fund means it is based on the underlying index of the stock exchange, either Nifty, NSE, or the BSE. What is it? Suppose if you take, for example, an index called Nifty 50. The Nifty 50, it will follow very religiously, continuously, whatever is the stocks in the Nifty 50, the fund also will be replicating it. And other things like fixed income indices like debt funds, or debt funds are also passive funds. It is known as Bharat Bond Index Fund. Then somebody has made a ETF or index fund on the gold prices. Whatever is the gold prices, your fund is also will be replicating. So there will be fluctuation. Now people are going to the mimicking or copying or cloning the world indices like Hang Seng also, and Nikkei index or whatever index which is topmost NASDAQ of America. What do the investor wants? This is a survey they found out. A long-term investor wants performance linked to underlying index. So it is present in passive, not there in active. A novice, a beginner wants transparency of the fund. So all the stocks are told to you, given, reported. Active funds is the fund manager who keeps the things under wraps because there is a competition in the market. Then what does the millennial want? He wants simplicity and easy to use, which passive funds have. And low entry barrier, that's what I was said. Suppose I am a little fellow doctor who started recently. What is my contribution to start investing? Low entry barrier, these passive funds, index funds, ETFs have got even 200 rupees investment strategies also. So index fund was first started by Jack Bogle, the father of mutual funds in America. He said index funds in 1976. Poor man in the beginning faced a lot of failures, not much encouragement, but today America has got almost 75% of their funds are in the passive funds. So they are less risky. They people who don't have time to read, those who are not financially savvy, they can follow and do these popular index funds like Nifty 50, Nifty Next 50, Bank Nifty, Nifty 100, small cap funds, etc., etc. And the returns are exactly similar to respective index selected what you are investing in. There is no alpha here. Alpha, has already told you, the active fund manager will try to make more money than the benchmark. That is known as alpha simple. And the horizon, always remember, time horizon should be between 7 years average. I would prefer 10 years, but seniors can look for even 5 to 7 years horizon and expect not more than 12 to 14% returns. Don't go for 20% return. Don't go for about 20%. It is almost impossible to do either in the passive or even in the active. And choose equity mutual funds because low tracking errors. Now there is a word called tracking error. What is a tracking error? The returns of the index and the return of your index fund, there is some difference. Suppose it is made 10 rupees profit, your fund may make 9 rupees 50 paisa. What happened to that 50 paisa? That is known as tracking error. There are various reasons why the tracking error can happen. But remember, it is the lowest expense ratio of 0.5%. Some funds have got 0.05% also. And you can invest in lump sum because credibility and safety is very high here, unlike the stocks. But it's a high risk investment. As it is mentioned, mutual funds sahi hai, but sahi kiske liye? Aapke liye sahi hona chahiye. It should be good for you. Then only it is non-risky. Otherwise, mutual fund has got some issues. Now, ETF, we will talk about ETF. ETF is a exchange traded fund. It came into being in the world in 1993. In India, we started floating in 2002. And the past 3 years to 7 years has seen tremendous amount of interest and increase in the fund investments and the cycles. It does not outperform the index. That is the basic thing you must know. It does require demat account because it is traded on the exchange. Everyday live price will be there. You can sell and buy in the exchange as you like. It has got a low expense ratio. I just now said 0.05%. Liquidity depends upon which fund you select. There is a high liquidity. Otherwise, there will be a problem if you select a fund which has got a low volumes and low shares and low units. And you can purchase directly from the fund or from the exchange. And if you want to purchase from the fund, your corpus should be 25 crores and above. Otherwise, it is available in the exchange anytime. It's a one important thing is it's a tax efficient fund because you don't change it. It's lying stable there. So you don't have to pay tax. It is only accumulated wealth which occurs only when you redeem. When you do this unique redemption, which is present in ETF on its own, you will pay the tax. So this is a kind of a fund which instrument which creates its own one of its kind value that is known as net asset value, and it is live. Every time you must check the NAV on the mutual fund and buy in the ETF. So understand ETFs are a combo of stocks and mutual fund. It's best of the both worlds. This side stocks also you can invest because 50 stocks, you take the part of it, it becomes a unit and a mutual fund. And the prices are real time, trading flexibility is there. It matches the market trends. It can be volatile, goes up and down. So probably monitoring is important. It has a lower risk compared to direct stock investing. Definitely the stocks, if you invest directly, you have to be constantly aware and have knowledge. An affordable price, I have been already telling you, least unit you can do. And demat account is very, very important. You should have. There is an explosion, as I just now said, of ETF. We are now on the cusp of 4. I think the ETF in India is 45% annualized growth rate is happening in the last 7 years. The inflection point actually came on 2015 when the government given a permission for the EPF, Employees Provident Fund, people to invest, take an equity route, and all the funds were invested, and that raised the AUM almost from 8,000 crores to 5 lakh crores rupees today in 7 years period. And most of it is in the equity ETFs. So remember, ETF of the equity is really the choice of the investors. Second is the debt. There is a 5 times growth, people are saying, and that is what the beauty of this instrument. I already said there is one company calls ETF Bees. So no, don't get confused. Bees are same like ETF, but it's a trade name probably of one branded company. It is known as Benchmark Exchange Traded Scheme. It is same exchange traded fund. So what is one Bees or one, suppose that Bees is Nifty Bees. 1/10 of the Nifty index value will be the 1 unit value, and 100 with the part of that index out of the 50 companies, the top companies of India. There is no load of this scheme. Expense ratio maximum goes up to 0.8, and daily average values are there. If you compare ETF with mutual fund, there are a lot of advantages which I told you, and active mutual fund, there are a lot of points which you have to consider because it's based on the manager. So there is a managerial risk, there is a stock exchange fees, there is a performance, market performance, which he tries to beat. So churning of the fund occurs. So difference between ETF and then coming to your own passive funds between index funds and ETF is this. Stock exchange, ETF, fund houses, large quantity only, as I said, 25 crores and above. Index fund is a mutual fund. You have to buy in a fund house. You can't buy it in exchange. This is linked to NAV, which is live, and it is every day the price is fixed, so you can buy and sell. Whereas end of the day, NAV is taken. Suppose I try to redeem today, my mutual fund will give me tomorrow's end of the day value to redeem it to me and put the money back, liquidate it. It takes some time, and you may lose or you may gain depending upon the NAV of the fund which calculates. The ETFs and index funds are a similar investment strategy. So what is good with the low expense, low pricing is there available, and the entry fee, the exit load, all are there less. So real-time pricing, I would definitely, my choice goes towards ETF. So the continuing the difference, the most important thing is a DMAT for ETF, no DMAT for index fund. This is very important. And then you can use this for people who are advanced, like Chape Soren sir or some other my doctor friends. They use for arbitrage, they use for keeping it as a margin money. So you can do that for ETF, not for index fund. Some of the popular ETFs, and there are so many in India today, I referred it, more than 150 ETFs are there. What are the most popular? Nifty ETF or Bs? See, the beauty is this Nifty will never become zero. Today, Nifty is 67,000. Do you think it can become zero? Nifty will never become like our gold price. Will the gold price become zero? It will fall, but it will never become zero. So investing through the index, especially the benchmark index, which are popular by the investors, is this. And it is SEBI regulated. It is rapidly growing. It is low cost, tax efficient. And liquid ETF is another debt fund which is invests in the government securities, in the state development loans bonds, which gives you a good coverage, safety, and yield which is already decided in the beginning of your investment. So gold and liquid, bank and Nifty Bs are the popular. Junior Nifty Bs are nothing but Nifty next 50. That means 50 to 100 stocks they invest in that performance. So these are some of the top ETFs of 23. These are given in a app which I invest called Grow. And this is not a recommendation, but just to give you a sort of a category wise under index ETF, under gold ETF, sectoral ETF, bond ETF, currency and global ETF. These are the leading companies which are doing good job. And I know Caressa is what you have to go through to pick up your own ETF fund manager. The performance we have just now said is linked to the underlying index or the benchmarks. Why should we so much worry? Vipul sir has told in our one of the lecture, 4 large cap funds out of 29 have only beaten Nifty 50. Rest of them have not beaten in the last 5 years. And if you take a history of 5 years of the mutual funds, it is so difficult to beat the Nifty 50 benchmark returns with this private or active mutual fund. It's not easy. It is tough. So what is the plus point? Simplicity and ease of use, transparency, low fund expense, low entry barrier. So how to select ETF and index fund? Slightly different from the mutual fund. The size of the fund, larger the better. Trading volume, higher the better, because liquidity will be there. Tracking error, as I said, difference between your fund and the benchmark should be low. So it is a good fund. Bid and ask spread, as I said, it is for the FNO people. Lesser the difference between bid and ask spread, it is a better fund for ETF. And total expense ratio, it should be lower the better. Now, these are the popular Nifty indices which we are having in our country. Nifty 50, Nifty Bharat Bond. They are the top two common ETFs which are popular with our investors. Passive fund, what you can do. Now, there are three things we can do with our passive fund. Very popular with Chape Soren sir and our current expert investors. You have a concept called core portfolio. You have a concept called satellite portfolio. The core portfolio is long-term and remains with a very, very well-managed stocks, which are less volatile. Whereas your core is your sell and buy and make quick money or profits. So ETF can be used for very beautifully for core. It can be used as a satellite. It can also be used for completion of your portfolio. Suppose you don't have a large growth ETF, you can add up and make it. This is the usage. So you in the ETF, you get rid of two important risks. One is the selection bias or the selection risk or the prediction risk. Now let me say what is the selection risk. How do you select the stocks, or how do you select an actively managed fund which is good and give you a good result for 5 to 10 years? It is like Jack Bogle said, the founder of world's biggest fund manager, needle and haystack statement. Why do you want to pick up a needle from a haystack when you can buy the whole haystack itself? That is the comparison of a Nifty 50 or index funds. And prediction risk, different funds we have seen if you see the ranking in the past 5 years, different funds beat the index in a different year. So no same company is always ranked 1 or 2 and 3. Every time the funds keep changing. Low cost default, I already told you, expense ratio, it is the highlight of ETF and the passive funds. And why should you do passive funds? Because of the possible index benefits. We have seen a 50 years study of the index also. Nifty 50, it has given uniformly around 14% to 17%. No other asset in India has given index returns safely as our Nifty 50 or even BSE Sensex. So that's the reason you should look for this particular instrument. And redemption is easy. So investors can redeem their units in the index fund only through the mutual fund in the fund houses based on the NAV. What is that? Asset value of the company and the cutoff timings are always at the end of the day, or they will tell you on Sunday, something like that. Whereas ETF, it is live market. You look at the NAV, it should be above that, then you redeem it. There is no broker allowed. There is no broker needed. Only during market hours, 9:30 to 3:30 you can do. It's a real-time pricing. These are the top 2 different types of index-wise ETFs with their asset under management in India, and the top 10 index funds and their AUM in India. They are only for the sake of example. I'm not recommending them, but you can have what are the assets they index which are popular with our population. Nifty 50 definitely, debt funds like Navbharat Bond or Nifty Bank, and I also said Central Public Sector Enterprises is CPSC. Similarly, in the index here, in the index fund, these are some of the top categories. Now, before I end with a couple of slides, I want to tell you, Pediatric Academy of Telangana from Hyderabad is a pioneering IAP society which started this F3 Friday financial fitness program way back in 2.5 years after pandemic of our corona. And a lot of courses and workshops and regular classes are conducted. Now the series 2, we have named it as Financial Intelligence for Pediatricians. So just to improve the financial literacy among pediatricians, our medical knowledge is good. We have a big gap. Try to learn quickly, going to the webinars, seminars, and reading the books. This is the library of finance books in one of my relatives' house. When I was surprised to see he is reading so much from past. There is a mobile library. People go there, and our Indian authors have written for our Indian context. So Western books are not good for Indian personal financial literacy. You have to go and read the Indian authors' books, which we probably take in one of our webinars. What are the basic books? And I have spent about 6 to 8 hours seeing these 5 webinars by National Stock Exchange by these wonderful experts of program by National Stock Exchange, who are actually talking about ETF, what is passive investing. And I liked Uma Shashikant's as the best, and the next best I like Nikunj Sharmaji's, and the rest of them you all know. Mr. Mukesh Agarwal also is a CEO of NSE. If you find time, if you want to know more about ETF and passive, please go and see this. So lastly, few investment learnings of this particular 40 minutes of program. Investing, like our life, there are no shortcuts. You can't make quick money. Please forget about that. If you are trying to go and do gambling or participate in horse racing, but not in the investment of the stock market or financial market. A good investing should be simple to understand, easy to execute. What Warren Buffett says is your circle of competence. Don't go for complex bonds, what do you call some NCDs, PCDs, those so many complicated financial instruments. What you know, invest there, you will make money. How to invest is more not very important, but where to invest, but how to invest, both are very important. How long you should be in the market is important to create wealth, and a good behavior takes us further than a good knowledge. So for more finance awareness, I acknowledge, and these are some of the references I have taken for my talk. So CIL is a Center for Investment Education and Learning. AMC is of the website. AMFI is what you must all look for, Association of Mutual Funds of India, and some of the apps which are there, and our channels are there. You can always go through your leisure time. And Dr. Tirumalai sir and Dr. Wilson sir book, everybody should read. It's a very small book, easy to read, Investment in Mutual Funds. So thank you very much with this brief introduction and awareness talk by me.
Thank you, Dr. Ajay, for that wonderful session. And I think he has mentioned about the Carreza criteria, how to go about selecting the mutual funds. Again, the importance of passive investing and the advantage of ETF over index funds, and the fact that you can start investing with a small sum even in passively managed funds or ETF. So thank you so much, and the topic is open for discussion. This will be in the YouTube, and those you can hear it once again leisurely if you have time.
So you can take the questions which are there in the chat box.
Yes. Oh, okay. Yes, it is like Ajay, can you take the questions in the chat box?
I'll try to see, sir, if I can manage.
I'm also, or those, I think you can ask questions also.
Yeah, you can unmute yourself and ask. That is a better way, probably.
Yes.
So I think Dr. Jitendra wants to ask something.
Yeah.
Jitendra, sir. Dr. Jitendra, sir.
So there is meanwhile, Dr. Jitendra, once he comes over, there is how to calculate LTCG and STCG. These are very easy, and our calculators are available, and we have to do it without maths and calculation. No investment should be done. So, and our chartered accountant or our income tax consultant, we can go and do that very easy. And even all the websites have got that. That's the question about the.
Actually, you can get a consolidated statement of your capital gains on
Yes.
the CAF website.
So Dr. Mallesh Gowda has asked, who's now the coordinator for Bangalore Financial Workshop, which we are doing. He has asked, which is better, index or ETF? It is the same example I gave. Is Madhuri Dixit beautiful or Aishwarya Rai? Both are good. It all depends upon what is our choice. But if at the end of my talk, if you take away the message that ETFs are better than index fund, I'll be happy. ETFs are definitely has got an edge over mutual funds.
So Bala sir is asking, can you tell how to calculate the LTCG and STCG?
Yes, sir. I answered that. There is in your app which you take, say, Coin or Kuvera or Zerodha, and if you ask, they will give you the earnings of the financial year and also the calculations. If you have done any sales, see, this is the profit only you will get. Otherwise, it will get a accumulated profit or the corpus for the years.
Sir, it is approximately 33%. That is what I got it. If you redeem for 1 lakh, you will have capital gains of around 33,000.
So the latest, I don't know, Bala sir. Only thing I know, previously they said 20%, and probably the new finance budget or the bill has changed.
So last year, actually, I redeemed for 1 lakh. The capital gains was around 34,000. And this year, I redeemed for around 3 lakhs. And the capital gains came around 1,20,000. So that means you have to pay the tax for 20,000 only. Is it correct?
I'm very poor in tax knowledge.
Bala, what did you ask, Bala?
Sir, last year that I redeemed for 1 lakh rupees, the capital gains, long-term capital gains was around 34,000. And this year, I redeemed for 3 lakhs rupees, and the capital gains came around 1,20,000. So
Actually, you have to pay only for the gain, no, not for the capital.
That for the 20,000 only, no?
Yeah, that's right.
Okay, okay.
And that also if the capital gain is more than 1 lakh per year.
Yeah, that is long term. Sir.
Yeah, long term.
Long term.
Less than 1 lakh.
I didn't get the reply from the CA. That's right.
And the capital gain, if you have put in direct fund without using any this thing, you can get it from the CAMS website. You have consolidated statement of your capital gain.
Okay.
Daily, weekly, monthly SIP. Somebody is asking, sir. SIP should be made how frequently? Should be daily, weekly, or monthly. For the sake of logistics, my group team says monthly is better. Doing weekly, keeping track after 5 years, 10 years, weekly is too cumbersome and too stressful. Your bank balance may not be there. You have to keep transferring the money. So monthly, I think, is a preferred way. And there is nothing like date. Any date is okay. So much of discussion on this, which date I should put the SIP. There is nothing like that. Marginal difference will be there, 0.1% or something. But monthly is preferred.
There is another question. Is there a way to get systemic withdrawal monthly through mutual funds?
Yeah, there is a scheme called SW, Systemic Withdrawal Plan, SWP. So say most of our seniors do that. We create a corpus and we do the systemic withdrawal plan, say from our 70th year of our life, where our income is almost negligible or comes down. Every month this becomes our salary or our professional income. That is known as systemic withdrawal plan. It is there.
How much equity corpus we should aim at retirement? I think you can answer that question.
This is a talk by Dr. Harish Gopal sir. He is giving this Sunday. Please join our F3 talk this Sunday. He has got wonderful calculators. So, but principles we can say a little bit. See, today my expenses is 1 lakh. What is the future value of this 1 lakh after 20 years? How much this 1 lakh will become? It will become inflation plus your taxes. Add up that. And the value that much you must have every month. So your expenses will become probably 5 lakhs, 2 lakhs after 10 years. So you should get 2 lakhs per month, that much of income, and corpus should be doing say 12% if your corpus is earning. You must make a corpus to earn 2 lakhs after 30 years. That is the overall plan of the retirement, but calculators are there. You just put, Zerodha has got a wonderful retirement plan calculator. You put what is your SIP today, 5,000 per month. What is your goal, 30 years. What is your percentage you are aiming for interest, 12%. So that will tell us the goal.
Any more questions?
Somebody said, what is after 60 years? Which is better? My good friend Lakshman Kumar from Karimnagar has asked. Definitely both are good, but ETF has got slightly edge over, and globally and even in our country, equity ETF is running in the popularity. So 75% of the ETFs are in equity, and equities are forming 16% of the total mutual fund this thing. And people say by 2026, the passive funds will overtake active funds. Today they are 30% in America, but by 2026, if the bear market continues, all the population will definitely go and invest in the ETF or in the passive fund, index funds. Corpus depends upon how much money we have. As we have discussed just now, if the doctors, instead of buying a mobile phone every year, please save a little bit and invest in an ETF by SIP or in an index fund. Or if, instead of buying a fancy car, I would say you please have a good car to take from point A to point B and save the money to make your own future good, comfortable. How much equity you must invest? Somebody has asked what should be. We have already said so much of percentage allocation. Age, 100 minus age is normally what people talk about equity. But today's scenario, taking slight risk of equity is not a danger for an educated man like us who have got knowledge. And we are definitely have got a structured approach to investment programs. So investing in equity is definitely not related to age only. 100 minus age, I'm 60, so I should only invest 40% of my corpus in equity? No. If I am knowledgeable, if I have time, I will invest even 50 to 60%, even 70% also.
Any more questions? If there is no more questions, I request Ajit to give the order of thanks. Ajit is there?
He's there, sir. He's there.
Yes, yes. Ajit, can you give the
Yes, good evening, sir.
Yes.
Good. Can you hear me?
Yes,
Yes,
sir.
can hear.
Respected President Jose, sir, Dr. Sri Prasad, Jayaraman, sir, Narayan, sir, and our today's guest speaker, Dr. Ajay Kumar, sir. It was indeed a great presentation and a lucid presentation when it has opened our eyes regarding ETF, actually. Because I am also into investment, but I never have thought that ETF has got so much of edge. So even if it is marginal over the passive funds, sorry, the index funds. So from being a coordinator, I would like to thank our guest speaker, Dr. Ajay Kumar, sir, for his excellent presentation. Thank you very much, sir. I also thank our coordinator today, Dr. T.P. Jayaraman, sir, who is behind all these programs and who is coordinating in an excellent manner. And this has been a good platform for all of us to learn and gain some knowledge about it. And I thank our state office bearers, Joe sir, for bringing up this program in a nice way. And I thank Alappuzha branch for conducting this program. Thank you, everyone.
So thank you, everyone. Thank you, Ajay.
Thank you very much, sir. Thank you.
Thank you, Ajay. Thank you, Ajay.
And President, sir, for giving this opportunity. Wonderful. We'll meet again.
Good night.
Bye. Good night.
Thank you. Good night, sir.
Good night.